What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the report. Welcome back to a brand new video. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. Graduation and all that was happening for me, so that's why I haven't uploaded a video. But we're back, and we are back. The Miami Heat are up 2-0 against the Boston Celtics. That is crazy. Yo, I am ecstatic right now. Like, this is like the happiest I've been as a Heat fan in like a long time. Probably since the bubble, to be honest, bro. Like, being 2-0 up on this number 1 seed or number 2 seed Boston Celtics is no slouch, man. And we obviously, the job's not finished, but we're gonna analyze games 1 and 2 and preview game 3 at home. So yeah, game 2 was last night. Obviously, game 1 and game 2, both in Boston, both went down to the wire. Game 1, and actually both had Boston leading like by double digits for part of the game, and the Heat kind of staged comebacks to take control in the second half. Now, in game 1, it was the third quarter. In game 2, it was the fourth. So game 1, 46-point third quarter. Jimmy had 35, Bam had 20, Vincent 15, Strus 15, Lowry 15, Caleb 15, and then the Celtics, you know, they just didn't execute in the fourth quarter of either of these games. And I mean, we'll take that any day of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, our defense has been absolutely stifling in these fourth quarters, these last 2 fourth quarters. And in game 2 was more of the same. Now, it was the fourth quarter instead of the third in game 2, where we had our like big run and came back and eventually took the lead and never looked back. And in game 2, it was Caleb Martin who was the unsung hero for us, who had 25. And he's actually been, you know, he's probably been our third best player in this series, to be honest, behind Jimmy and Bam. And Caleb, man, he's just a gamer. He's just a hooper. He's a guy who just takes what the defense gives you. You want to sag off of him and leave him open, he'll make you pay. If you want to run him off the 3-point line, he's also a very adept slasher and very athletic, where he can dunk on somebody. Like, you know, he's a very good Swiss Army knife type role player to have on your team. And right now, the depth of Miami is outplaying the depth of Boston significantly. Like, you probably wouldn't have expected that unless you were a Heat fan, that, you know, Lowry, Martin, Robinson, these guys are outplaying, you know, Brogdon, Derek White, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, whatever. Like, a lot of these, like, I mean, Brogdon was a 6th man of the year. Derek White is an extremely starting caliber player. Like, and Miami's depth is outplaying Boston. And even the starting depth, like Gabe Vincent, Strus, like, they're outplaying, you know, the Boston role players as well. Like, it's crazy. Like, Horford, White, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Brogdon, apart from Smart, Brown, and Tatum, like, nobody else has really showed up for Boston in this series. And even to a certain extent, Jaylen Brown has not been that good for them either. So, you know, the Heat have been doing everything well in stopping the Celtics. Now, Tatum had his, you know, usual game in game 2, but apart from that, Brown was held to 7 for 23 shooting, and Smart didn't have the same impact he had in game 1. And Brogdon, you know, he came off the bench and hit a couple of shots. And Grant Williams, again, I don't know what Grant Williams was thinking getting into it with Jimmy. I get he was trying to, you know, ignite some fire into his team, but bro, you do not talk to Jimmy, because, like, if you start something with Jimmy, bro, Jimmy's gonna win that battle every single time. He's a dog. Jimmy's a dog. Like talking to Jimmy was a mistake. You should have talked to anybody else on the Heat besides Jimmy, because he's the last person you want to, you know, egg on and give him even more motivation, because he will kill you. And that's what he did. He literally tore Boston to shreds in that last couple of minutes. Looking at team stats in game 2, the 3-point shooting, again, was not as, you know, amazing as it was in game 1, but we did shoot better than them from 3. We shot better from the free throw line than them. We out-rebounded them. I think Bam has been incredible, man. I think he had, 17 rebounds in this game? I mean, Bam gets a lot of disrespect by Heat fans, but I think people have to finally understand how valuable Bam is to our team, because Bam does so many different things. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, like, trade Bam for Embiid, and like, maybe straight up, yeah, you would consider it, but like, the amount of things that Bam does for this team is like quite, like, categorically, like, it is uncommon, like, in any franchise, where your starting center not only has to protect the rim, not only is a lob threat, which is what the two attributes that he came into the league as. But you're asking this guy to switch 1 through 5 on defense. You're asking him to run your offense and be a playmaking, facilitating hub. You're asking him to put the ball on the floor and create his own mid-range jump shot and even drive to the rim. You're asking him to get through the free throw line. You're asking him to set screens for every single player on this team and lead the playoffs in screen assists. Like, he has to do so much. And not only that, he has to guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for majority of the game. It's not like you're putting Bam on Robert Williams or Al Horford. Like, they've been putting him on JB. And eventually he's been getting switched onto JT. Like, he's had tough matchups and he's been holding his own against all of them because he's an elite defender. And offensively, bro, like, he almost had a triple-double last night. 22, 9, and 17. Like, if he had that 10th assist, I know it wasn't a triple-double exactly because he only had 9 assists. Well, not only, but he had 9 assists instead of 10. But that was one of his best games that I've ever seen from him because, like, overall, like, he dominated that game. He was extremely, like, and that big rebound at the end where he, like, just, you know, ragdolled Al Horford out of the way and just, you know, got that ball and just, you know, slammed it back in. Like, that was just the icing on the cake for Bam. So I got to give huge props to Bam. Bam and Caleb Martin. And then I think Bam and Caleb were the two best players last night. I know Jimmy had 27, but a lot of Jimmy's points came like late after the whole Grant Williams thing, but which are very important. He closed out the game and stuff, but I feel like that was kind of expected of Jimmy. Like, I feel like Bam and Caleb, like, you could say it was expected of Bam too. Like, Caleb's was just out of nowhere. I don't think anybody expected him to drop 25, but Bam with 17 boards, near triple-double. Caleb with 25. Duncan Robinson came off the bench and dropped 15. And the thing, the beauty of this team is that you kind of just don't know who's going to beat you. You don't. Like, in game 1, Lowry had 15. In game 2, he had 0. But in that same game, Robinson had 0, and now he has 15. So it's like you don't know who's going to drop the points for the Heat. Like, especially their depth. Like, it's just, and I'm so tired of this whole undrafted narrative. Like, oh my God, the Heat have 8 undrafted players. Like, yeah, they're undrafted, but bro, we've been saying the same thing over and over again. Like, they're not like fresh anymore. Like, they've been seasoned with this team. Like, that's what Spo said too. It's actually kind of disrespectful to just class them as undrafted players because they have made a name for themselves in the league now. Vincent has been with us since 2019, 2020. Robinson has been with us since 2018. Strus has been with us for a couple of years. Martin has been with us for a couple of years. Yurtseven has been with us for a couple of years. Like, we've had guys, like, I don't think, like, the only undrafted player who just got on this team this year was Jamal Cain and Orlando Robinson. Apart from that, everybody who was undrafted has been on this team before. So, like, it's not like they're just new and fresh. Like, they're not, you know, fresh to the moment. Like, they understand playoff basketball. They were in the same series against the same team last year. So, I mean, just calling them undrafted, and I know they are undrafted, but, like, just using them to characterize their play style and how they should be scared and stuff like that, I just think that's very disrespectful, especially to guys like Gabe, Duncan, who've been on this team for a long time now. Like, they're seasoned now. Like, they're not afraid of the moment. Like, with this, Gabe and Duncan have been on this team since we went to the bubble finals, and even before that for Duncan, he was on the team before that as well. So, yeah, man, I mean, that's just what I had to say about the undrafted narrative. Reggie Miller loves to talk about undrafted narrative on TNT. I see him talking about it all the time. Like, bro, Reggie Miller, just talk about something else, bro. Yeah, that's the beauty of this team, that nobody, like, you don't know who's going to beat you. And then at the end, Gabe Vincent has to stop committing dumb fouls. He did that against Jalen Brunson with the flagrant, and he fouled Tatum on a 3. He has to be a lot less handsy on defense. I think the refs have noticed that Gabe Vincent tends to use his hands a lot on defense, which is why they called the 2 fouls on him. Like, against Jalen Brunson, he kind of punched him in the face, and then Tatum, he got him on a 3. But he did make up with it for a big shot. That 2-point shot, that fadeaway or that step back against Tatum, some might say it was a push-off. I think it's 50-50. I don't think you call that at that point in time, but that was a big shot, yo. That was a huge shot because that put us up 4. That made it a 2-possession game, and that made them have to take a 3, and they missed. So, yeah, man. I mean, you gotta give major props to Gabe for for the cojones to take that shot. And that's that. Like, again, these guys are not scared at the moment. Like, you can have Gabe Vincent taking that shot and nobody's gonna complain. You know what I'm saying? Strus hit a couple of huge threes at the beginning. One like was like a fade away. Like he just dribbled into it. Like, normally he's a set shooter, but he shot it off the dribble. The Zeller minutes were not even that bad tonight, or last night, which I'm happy about, because Zeller has looked like our worst player so far in these playoffs. But we just need Zeller to be active on the glass and be able to protect the rim. If he gets switched onto the perimeter, we're cooked. That's the only problem with Zeller, is that he's way too slow to guard any of their players on the perimeter. But if he plays drop, and if he protects the rim, and if he, on the offensive end, if he just is a force on the glass, that's all we need from him. His role is extremely simple. Surprised we have not seen Haywood Highsmith. I'm very surprised we've not seen Haywood Highsmith, because I feel like he would have been an extremely good, player to have in this series. Like, play some small ball backup five. Try to, and kind of just do similar things to what Grant Williams has been doing for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, guard the opposing team's best player. Like, obviously Grant Williams, like, he's a better shooter, but I think Haywood Highsmith is a better defender than Grant Williams. And that's a hot take, because not a lot of people know about Haywood Highsmith, but he can clamp people up, bro. So, but yeah, I mean, if it's not broke, you don't fix it. Obviously, up 2-0. I don't think anybody's complaining right now, so neither am I. But yeah, man, game 3 is tomorrow in Miami. It's gonna be fun. We gotta protect home court. We're up 2-0, which is an extreme advantage right now, because obviously going 2 games on the road up is, amazing. But gotta take care of business at home. Hopefully we do so. I'll make a video then. But I'll see y'all later as always, man. Peace.